Hello, remember me? Uh, oh, Troy A, Shadow Electronics, BW World Building Project, continuing to work on, on the production book for Captain Yuletide, and I've not been able to do this consistently as I was hoping I would do, but when I have something to report, I am going to report it, and I have something to report. So today I got a chance to write a bit of the lore of Captain Yuletide and how I approach Christmas, because there's really not a set story on what exactly qualifies as Christmas. Like, there's no agreed upon Christmas canon, as it were. But so I'm kind of working with my own thing, trying to figure stuff out and come up with the ideas that work best for my story, and paying some tribute to Christmas stories and traditions that have come before. And I talked before about, actually I think the last episode talked about research and how important it was. Well, researching just the lore itself isn't enough. For example, I decided I wanted to look up, I did a little research on reindeer and found that my knowledge of reindeer in real life was off. Apparently reindeer, despite what I said last time, are deer. They do come from the deer family, different genus, whatever. I don't know that much about animals. So I'm not an animal expert at all. So I got that information wrong. Reindeer and deer. Reindeer and deer are basically related. So, as a quick change, you simply say that Christmas reindeer are just another species of deer. They're different from regular reindeer. Of course, discounting the fact that Christmas reindeer are smart and can talk, but otherwise they're still basically otherwise related to deer. Where do they come from? I don't know. I kind of find it interesting that there's some parts of Christmas lore, I guess we could call it, for lack of any better term. I hope I'm not going to burn that word out in this video. But I kind of like the fact that there's some stuff that's mysterious. You know, like, I'm not going to have a definite Santa Claus origin. I'm not going to have a definite Christmas reindeer origin. I kind of like the idea that it's this separate group of beings, of animals who happen to be able to talk, and wondering where they came from. So I kind of like that. Kind of like the idea that there's stuff that we don't know. It makes it mysterious. Let's feel a little more magical, I guess. Be hands-on for magical. I don't know sign language either. I know more about animals than I do sign language, I guess. But so I'm doing this project. I looked that up. So I looked that up, and so that information is a little more accurate. Sorry. Then it comes the story of, well, how do reindeer fly? And from what I've read online, the agreed upon origin has to do with reindeer being fed something just magic corn, like in Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and some says, it's just a powder that they put on the food. So I just basically said it's magic feed. As far as how you want to interpret that, I'll leave that up to you. But, I don't need to explain everything to every last minute detail. I think that takes some of the fun out of it. And I don't want to take the fun out of Christmas. This is me we're talking about here. But let's see, what else did I talk about reindeer? I talked about how there's, of course, 9 reindeer: Rudolph and Dasher and Dancer, Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid, Donner and Blitzen. But I also introduced the idea that there are stand-ins. If one of the reindeer is sick or injured or something, one of these stand-in reindeer will come in and will take their place. And I even noted that Bryce, the green-nosed reindeer, the character I created for Captain Yuletide, has occasionally been, has at least one occasion been Rudolph's stand-in. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. So that kind of makes a little connection between Bryce and the other reindeer. But for the most part, maybe he'll be Rudolph's stand-in. Otherwise, he's gonna go for it. Oh, shit, why am I so tired? I don't even feel that tired. I'm yawning. This is terrible broadcasting. But I will power through it. But I like it gives Bryce something to do. And also, I wasn't even thinking about that, but I was thinking, okay, so I have a concept that I'll just reindeer replace stand in for the other 8, but who's going to stand in for Rudolph? Because Rudolph's whole thing is that he has the nose that can help act as a guide. And he's right there in the center. So you got to, what do you replace it with? A guy holding a lamp? Reindeer holding a lamp in his mouth? So that's when I came up with, well, maybe Bryce does it. Why not? So, and which got me a little thinking a little bit about Bryce and how his magic connects, which worked for the other video that I did, which is the other lore piece that I wrote, which is on Captain Yuletide. And I did a quick blurb about the origin, which is depicted in issue number 3. And I went into strengths and weaknesses, what power I now have defined what Captain Yuletide's powers are. I've defined Bryce's powers. I've defined their limitations, their weaknesses, their strengths, and everything else. These may or may not come out for sure. Well, one already has. Some of it already has. Issue 1 established that if they're in an area where there's not as much Christmas spirit per person, I mean, obviously if you're somewhere in the middle of nowhere, it's not going to be any Christmas spirit. But if there's like a bunch of people who don't have any Christmas spirit, or in Captain Yuletide and Bryce can become weaker. At the same time, more Christmas spirit will make them stronger than normal. So there's like a set level, and then it goes up or down based on how much Christmas spirit is in the area. So that kind of allows me to play a little bit with the power set as need to be, beyond just limitations of each individual elf. And I also went to a little bit about the elves that are chosen. I went into the limits of Bryce's magic. For example, I decided that Bryce, that when Captain Yuletide is summoned, this was actually shown in the last issue. When Captain Yuletide is chosen, I had the collar and cape show up on Bryce, and his powers came out. So I said, well, I got to go. That's your signal to go help. But what happens when the elf turns back into a normal? Captain Yuletide turns back into an elf. And I decided Bryce still has some like leftover energy in there, and then it kind of goes away as being used. It's more like if you got something plugged in, and then if you unplug it, and then now it's just running on battery power. That's kind of how I kind of figure that one out. That way he still he may still have some leftover energy, and it kind of explains what happened in issue 2 when Captain Yuletide lost his power, but Bryce still was able to come up with some magic to push him into the air. And so I explained that. And so that's kind of the stuff that I was thinking about today. That's the marker. These are just first drafts, though. Once I've made all the files that I want, I'm going to go through all of them, try to find inconsistencies, things that I may have messed up, things that aren't right, and then say, well, okay, which version do I actually want to go with? And then from there, I'll through all that, I'll create the final version. I'll rewrite, I'll create the final drafts, and it's a final draft so that I'll print out and put in the production book. So I still got some more of those to go through. I'm still need to find time to sit down and plan out Workshop 25 in Bryce's Cave, and I still need to go and write the character profiles for the elves I have now. And then I got to think about the elves that I got for the next comic, and some of the elements of that story. So there's still more. Still more work to go. I hope the main thing is to have this framework done in time to make the next issue of Captain Yuletide, and have that out in time for Christmas. So we'll see how that goes. And until then, if you want to read the previous issues, I will have a link in the cards here, in the end cards, and then you can check around the rest of the website, bwspotlight.com, to see a lot of the other articles, comics, and videos I produce. And of course, as soon as I have get a chance to work some more on this, I'll bring you yet another update in the world building project. I hope to do something tomorrow. I might not get to do something tomorrow, but I'll do what I can. I'm just going to have to accept the fact that this is not going to be done by February, that I'm not going to have consistent reports, and prepare some morning article links for my site in case I don't have anything to report. And then if I do, then I can hold that in reserve until the next day I miss. And that's kind of how it's just you have to go. It's just life does not want me to create things, apparently. But I'm a stubborn ox. So until then, I wish you all happy creating.